Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome back to Parkitect, or indeed Parkitect Part 1, because this time we are doing it properly. I promised you a series, and this is the beginning of that series. It won't be a weekly series, it'll more be like a series as new content comes out, or particularly if a new mod comes out that takes my fancy, because we have started modding this game, because there's already a really active modding community, and they've come up with some really impressive stuff. And what I said in the original Parkitect video was like the one thing that really stopped kind of catching my interest for a series immediately was there just weren't quite enough like assets, so I couldn't theme things properly. But I'll tell you what, the modders have done a pretty good job sorting that out immediately. So, welcome to Parkitect, let's start building our park. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing a brand new part, but I just wanted to show something off that I find absolutely bloody hilarious in this game, which is basically, because of the way water works, you don't longer like kind of pick water and like move it individually like you did in Roller Coaster Tycoon. You pick a level that you want the water to go in, so you dig a hole, select like here, and this whole lagoon fills up with water. Except there's no actual limit to that and no cost associated with it. So if you just have like a hill up here, there's absolutely nothing to stop you getting the water level, saying that you'd like it to be here, confirming, because there's no cost, and immediately beginning to drown your entire flipping park. Interestingly, the roller coasters seem to be able to kind of keep going. Some of them do. Anyway, in fact, actually, yeah, the people in the queue are the only people not affected by this. Interestingly, people who are queuing for rides have been spared the terrifying effects of water. Now, hang on the moment. Oh, yeah, okay. So this person is... There we are. So that person stepped off the roller coaster and then immediately started drowning. So these people are the only ones who are safe. Like, you lot on the Ferris wheel, you should be thankful you're on the Ferris wheel because you're the only ones not drowning. Drowning is also a thing in the game. It doesn't look like it should be because, like, people do just seem to kind of keep blubbering along forever, even though many of them think glub glub. Some of them think I can't swim. Yeah, that guy thinks I can't swim. Interestingly, what appears to happen is as he is drowning, his happiness goes down, his tiredness goes up, and I believe when the tiredness fills up, then eventually people do actually start they just go to the bottom, and when they hit the ground, they just disappear. Oh, and out come a huge number of people from Haunted House 1, and in a moment they'll realise that they're underwater and all drowning in the same spot. Beautiful. Oh, there's a drowning person. Look, there you go. And you notice there that we did indeed... Oh, loads of people are about to drown. We're down from 262, 159, 157, 156. Oh, they're dropping off now. We just lost several hundred... Oh, we're losing them. The entire park is slowly drowning. Okay, the happiness is certainly going down at the moment. That's definitely true. Happiness is declining on account of the mass death. But let's not worry about that. Instead, let's kick off our new park. Our brand new adventure. John's Totally Safe Adventure, where you definitely won't drown. And today we are indeed going to start off by building like the first world. I kind of want each part of this series to be a different world. So today we're going to start off by building Pirate World. Now, the first thing you can do that I think is very good, because you can terraform outside the map. I really hate the road here, because like I think it kind of would break the illusion. Like if we build like a world anywhere around here, people would just be able to see over the fence and see the world. What you can do is simply use the terraforming tools to simply eliminate the road. The path is still there, because if you terraform like over or under a path, it just like goes on stilts or into a tunnel. So you don't need to worry about that. Instead, we're just creating some nice hills in this region. I don't want to do that though, that's a bit too close to the edge of the park. I kind of want the, I would like the park to actually have a little kind of entrance. Okay, so now I've got the tunnel the guests arrive through. This is where like all the stuff, like the restocking goes on. And we just kind of increase that. Beautiful. So now we've got like a little entrance to the pub. We can get rid of the really kind of ugly road. So I'm going to do that first. So like even if guests happen to look over the park edge, they just see some rolling hills. And we can terraform these to be like matching whatever else we need to. So that's it. The road's gone. And that has no effect on the park whatsoever. Now we just have guests. They kind of just like magically come out of this tunnel here, which is perfect. So let's kick off here, because I indeed have a much more ambitious plan for how we're going to do Pirate Land than we did last time. This kind of little kiddie Pirate Land we built here last time. No, I've got a much more ambitious plan here. Sufficiently more ambitious that I'm going to kind of build it in this direction instead. I kind of feel like, I don't think it's going to like fill up the park right over to here, but it's certainly going to fill up way more space than we've got just in this corner. I might like put like a little garden and some shops over here later, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. Okay, I've started off by digging a massive, great big lagoon here, which I think is a good kind of starting off point. You'll also see one of the mods I've installed straight away there, which is what I've installed is a day-night mod. So now the game has a day-night cycle. Right now it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Basically, it's a bit colder at night, it's a bit warmer in the day. Guests are tired at night, they're more awake during the day. But it does, however, mean that lights actually work, and they're really rather pretty. So that's nice. Let's just put like some basic benches in here for these guys, just in case they feel a bit tired, and also just a basic lamp as well by the entrance. So you can see that it actually makes quite a nice little yellow glow. I don't know if like lights have an effect on happiness. I haven't really kind of kept an eye on that so far, but yes, there's now actual lights in this game in the day-night cycle. I think it's like a 5-minute total cycle, so we'll kind of see quite a few of them, but I think they're very, very nice, and they really do add to the atmosphere of things. Alright, I've just given them an info kiosk, some flowers, and some benches. So that will hopefully keep those guys happy while I build the first stage of Pirate World. So the first thing I kind of want to do is, like, we're going to have the big lagoon here, but, like, in front of the lagoon, we're going to have the little town. Kind of like I envisaged, like, over here previously, but, like, we're going to do it on a slightly bigger, more impressive scale. So we're going to have, like, an entranceway here, and then we're going to have, like, the town here. Then I'm just gonna, let's just paint over all this thing. As this is all free, we can fix it up later when we want to kind of like add little details and like properly kind of demarcate where the area kind of starts and where it ends. So we're going to start off with just some shops along here. I'm going to have a shop in like these buildings here. The walls kind of need to be a little bit higher than you might be expecting, because like the shops very often like have stuff sticking over the top. So like instead of just having like one wall, instead I'm going to like have like a double-sized wall here. So I've got like an extra, well, not really a double-sized wall, I mean like a half on top. Luckily the game's pretty much ready for you to do that. Like pretty much every piece has like a half height variant as well, which makes it very easy to do. Now let's just give people the basics of whatever they need. Kind of take whatever takes your fancy. Don't worry if like things stick out a little bit, because we can fix that with awnings. So we've got ourselves a hot dog stand there. And some soft drinks as well. There's a special like new type of awning that's like just a shop decoration. So you can kind of put that there. It kind of covers it up a little bit. Like it's not perfect. It just kind of partly disguises the fact it sticks through the wall a little bit there. So what I've gone for here for this little kind of first building here is I've kind of built this out a little bit better than I did the last one, I think. So we've got these nice new little kind of overhanging bits here. We've kind of now got, there's an opportunity to get some food and some drink, though the haulers are just kind of stocking that out at the moment. I think these work kind of nicely for kind of making everything fit in. Again, I'm kind of going for like almost like the governor's mansion approach. Kind of put some chimneys on top, which I quite like. And I've gone for like more of an orange. I think like the last one was maybe a bit too red. Like to introduce the fact you're going into Pirate World, you actually kind of go through the mansion. There's like proper walls there, so like you don't kind of see either side and see the side of the shop or anything. We kind of want to keep the illusion real. So they kind of go past like this table and the locked chest and the crates and the little kind of flags there. You can make the flags any colour you want, which I quite like. And they kind of come through here and they're straight out into what's going to be like a complete like seafront going straight onto the bay, which I think is actually quite a cool little thing. Now obviously we'll have a swinging ship just to start us off, because it's quick to build, that means we can get some nice music going on. But I've got some much bigger plans as well. This is just going to be like a little ship that just kind of, sits outside the harbour. One thing I really do love about Parkitect, by the way, is the entrance and exits don't have to go like straight on anymore. If you kind of put like the entrance here and the exit here, it just curves around to anything that you want, which I do quite like. I think that's actually very, very nice indeed. So what I've tried to do here, by the way, is I've like made the colour scheme of like the base of the ride and the entrance path kind of try and match up to the wood for the most part, so it kind of looks like it's a little kind of like wooden jetty, which I quite like. Now, a small annoyance I hope they will kind of fix in time, which is there is a lantern. There are lantern-style lights in this game. But unfortunately, because the lantern-style lights are added by a mod, and it's a different mod to the day-night mod, that means that this lantern does not actually produce any light. It's purely decorative, which I find, which is kind of a little annoying, because you also can't have both. You can't, like, overlay them. So I kind of, if I want to, like, have things lit up at night, I'm going to have to go for the lamp of the log, if I kind of want things to light up, which I kind of do, because I think it makes things very, very pretty. Now, the problem we've got here right now is everything's a little bit too flat. So what we need to fix that is, if we've got a big bay here, and we're going to have ships in it, and we are going to have ships in it, then what I think we kind of really need is we need a lighthouse, which luckily someone has already modded in. So here's a nice big hill that I've built, but we've got a small problem. Even if you put a lighthouse on top of it, and I think the lighthouse looks really, really cool, the lighthouse doesn't light up. which is a bit of an issue. But I've found what I think is actually a pretty decent workaround for that. Which is if you put the lighthouse onto a single tile, then the lighthouse, because it's a mod, doesn't really have proper collision detection. The game's totally fine with you actually building a path, basically, on top of it. So let's just put a path about here. Yes, this would work. So we'll put a path about here. So we've now put a path there. Now let's get rid of that lighthouse. That path will now just float there. And now we just get the small little lamps, and we put them on all four sides of this, casting a decent bit of light. Now we bring the lighthouse back, putting it as centrally as possible to the lights. It's not going to look perfect, but we now have one lighthouse that actually lights up and lights up the area around it a little bit. Very, very nice indeed. I'd say that looks very, very cool. So now, yes, we've got ourselves the beginning of this little kind of seafront and this lighthouse up on the hill. Okay, just for now, I've actually decided to disable the day-night mod. I was getting kind of some flickering, to be honest. It was, yeah, even though it was, like, nice to have things lit up, you know, I think things were actually ending up looking a little bit worse than if it wasn't on at all. So we'll come back to that one later. We'll see if we can get some improvements out of that. But I really don't mind that, because that means I can actually use the proper lanterns that I kind of wanted to use anyway. So what we're going to have next over here, kind of leading along here, is going to be more of like a grey brick building. We're going to have like a stone building. It's going to be like the town's armory is going to be along here. And even though the lighthouse doesn't light up anymore, I've got arguably more exciting plans for it anyway. Okay, so what I've done, in fact, is I've built like a little tower on the end of this kind of like grey brick building, which I quite like, because then I think what I'm going to do is if I go over to, where's the things, like details, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to absolutely cover this thing with like chimneys, because what this is like, this is where the furnace is, obviously. There's going to be like multiple chimneys up here on top, because this is where, like, you know, the furnaces, this is where they do all the forging of the weapons for this town. And now we can start decorating this place a little bit. Obviously, if this is like the armorer, then they'll have like a nice cannon here outside the door. Right there, like that. And we'll put like a little kind of, actually we'll put a big pile of cannonballs right next to it, just to kind of show off that's what we do. And then we'll put like some little kind of crates next to it as well. We'll just kind of stack them up a little bit. There we are. So that's a nice little kind of pile of crates. And we'll like hang a lantern either side of the door. Because like pretty much anything in this game flies. If you kind of want to, you can just make anything kind of look like it's stuck to a wall just by kind of raising it up and then sticking it to the wall. So that's kind of a lantern either side of the door, which is really nice. So given I've put these two doors here, I think you can actually see what I'm actually planning to do with this thing, which is, this is going to be the first roller coaster of the park, and I'm really rather proud of how that's going to end up looking. Before we get to that, we need to do just a little bit of scenery dressing, because people who are walking here can see through that gap, and that's no good, so we need something to kind of fill this little gap right here. And just some basic nice rocks could do that job very, very nicely. And a smaller one than that, mind. A small rock right here. There we go. There we are. This is like a little kind of coastal town. There'll just be some rocks dotted around. Another one on the ground to make it look a little bit more naturalistic. There we are. This could be like, from like when this tower like nearly fell down a few years ago. Perfect. There we are. Lovely little pile of rocks there. So now, when people go into this corner, they won't see anything. We're starting to kind of complete the illusion here. Okay, so what I've started building in here, just to make sure it all fit correctly, was I have built the entrance and exit and the platform for, if we hide the scenery, a basic steel roller coaster. And we have a bit more station yet, because the station can go inside this mountain that the lighthouse is on very, very easy. So let's have a nice long station there. So nicely hidden from view around the back of the people, though I may well kind of put some extra scenery around here to kind of disguise the tunnel as well. That might be nice. We have indeed got the roller coaster that kind of goes through here, rises up very, very nicely up to the lighthouse here, kind of disguised by the hill the lighthouse is on, and then comes out at the top. And we'll put some more kind of like scenery down to kind of disguise it coming back out again later, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. Okay, there we are. I've now just kind of quickly added another little kind of bit on the end there. I'll get the colours standardised in a second. But yes, I've added a bit more onto the end there. So now we've kind of got this, this kind of completely hidden roller coaster track right here. Now, I don't want this to actually be looping through the town. I've got a different plan for this, which is I actually think what this is going to do is it's going to start like not that high up at all, and then instead it's going to kind of dive down, and it's going to do most of the work like underground. It's going to be like a dark, spooky underground ride, and like for the most part, you're not even going to see it. It's just going to kind of loop once round the lighthouse. And I'm going to kind of colour it to match with the lighthouse so it kind of blends in a bit better. And then after that, it's going to go pretty much straight underground. So let's make that happen right now. So yes, straight back underground here. Beautiful. Let's say how... I don't know how low you can actually go in this thing, by the way. How far are you allowed to go down? -10, -14. Oh, yeah. There's bedrock somewhere down here. There's got to be bedrock somewhere down here. I'm paying 1,000. I'm paying a lot of it. There is... Wow. Okay. So if you want to go underground in Parkitect, you can. Beautiful. So it's going to go underground, go down really, really fast, do like a double loop-de-loop. In fact, actually, let's the downside of working while paused is you don't get the little kind of the holographic thing, which will be quite useful. So it goes down underground, does a double loop, and maybe even a triple loop-de-loop underground. That'd be cool. So it kind of comes around here, just like briefly... Okay, so it can't do that. It needs to level out first with some more stuff on it. Actually, I don't mind this change I've had to make, because if I make this change, I can actually have the thing loop around the lighthouse, which I actually really quite like. So it comes out of the secret tunnel, it loops around the outside of the lighthouse, and then at the far side of the island, so like the first big drop isn't really seen from the town, it goes deep underground. And into a terrifying series of underground, pitch-black loop-de-loops. Perfect. And then pretty much after that, I'm just going to make it loop back round onto itself. So we'll just make it go straight for a bit. And then just 45 degrees round to this angle to make sure it's a nice banked curve. And at this point, we just start ascending back up again. Let's see if this brings us into the right sort of area. This is one too far over by the looks of it. Yeah, that area is already occupied, so I need to be one further over than I already am. So, bring this down here. We'll just make it go one like that. Fine. And then we'll make it start going up, and we'll see if that's got the angle right broadly. Hide the scenery, what's gone wrong here. Okay, so we've come up just a little bit not quite sharply enough. Oh my goodness, I think we just pulled stuff by accident. So it kind of goes round, and then up a level, then up a level, and then straight into the thing. Is that... I think that's connected, right? Okay, only one way to find out, really, and that is to give it a quick test. Though, again, I don't think we can actually see speed. Hopefully this thing's going to... Wait, hang on. When did that... Did I ever straighten that out? Is that the problem, potentially? Oh, I think I've seen the problem. No, stop. I think I've just realised what the problem is. Yes, the angle wasn't right. But if I build that, I think that now actually works. Yes, that looks like it's actually connected. Good, I spotted the problem before I killed everyone. And even better, the thing gets back up in from underneath without ever actually the scenery really showing off. So that works really, really nicely. Right, back to the underground view. Yep, fine. And it looks like it's going to be medium, medium, medium. Okay, that's a decent roller coaster to start off with. So over it goes. The people on the front kind of get dangled off the edge for a moment. And then underground, through a loop-de-loop. And another loop-de-loop under the lake. Into the third. A nice straight round a banked curve so it's not too extreme. And then an up. And then a... So... I feel like in some ways it's gone wrong. I feel like in many... I don't know what's happening right now. But I feel like the thing that just happened shouldn't have happened. Okay, I've had to make some slight changes to the design. Unfortunately, that means around the front of the part, you've got this slight ugliness here, where actually, like, the ride has to kind of come up and be kind of visible there, which is a bit of a shame. But what I'm going to do to make that a little bit better is I'm going to get rid of this one wall here, and I'm going to disguise it with rocks again. Well, it's very far from perfect, but it's far better than just having, like, you know, the hole in the edge of the tower exposed. And incidentally, I'm changing over to dragon cars. I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome, so we're going with that. Oh yeah, that's way more awesome. We're going to have a bloody dragon. It's not entirely on theme, but, you know, here be dragons written on a pirate's map. It kind of works. So what I've done, by the way, is now the ride extends significantly further in this direction. It does the double loop up, but now it hits some brakes and a lift. So I'm hoping that will slow it down enough that everything's fine. Alright, moment of truth. Are you about to horribly crash? Up you go, and slow and back into the station without going bananas. Better and better. Now, while we're waiting for the results to come in, let's quickly work on some personalization. Alright, so we've now got ourselves a track that matches the lighthouse that it's actually going to go through. As for the cars are weirdly... Why are the cars not green? I feel like the cars should be green. There you go. Green cars. Here be dragons. Perfect. So we've got ourselves the green cars that was already supposed to be green. I'm not sure why they weren't already. And then we've got, yeah, the yellow eyes and the dark red cars and this green dragon thing. Oh, yeah. This is just the thing. And what do the results say? Medium, medium, medium. Not so bad. So let's just whack the price right up for this thing. That's good. And we're going to call it Here Be Dragons, which I think is actually a really cool name for it, therefore. Now, as for the exit path, we'll just put a path up here. So people can kind of, yeah, they leave here, they walk out this way, they walk straight out. Obviously, we'll put some nice of the wooden benches, like right outside it, to make sure that people have somewhere to sit if they're feeling a little bit unwell after this. And then we're going to make the path loop along this sort of way, and we're going to make it kind of act a little bit like it's a big long pier again. So we can kind of be right to there. Beautiful. So we'll get the paint tool and we'll grab those two colours that we did before, and we'll just quickly paint over this area exactly the same. So now we've got this kind of same sort of vaguely woodish texture. So it kind of is supposed to be like a pier. There's supposed to be like multiple piers sticking out into the water. And with that done, I'd say let's see how people respond to this. Or rather, why does it have to be raining? Why would it be raining right now, the one moment we want to open the brand new bloody ride? Well, while I'm waiting for some improved weather, I'm going to do some landscaping, which is this area around here is going to be like the edge of the bay. So I'm going to have like one more building over here, because I kind of want people to not have an uninterrupted view out around the beach that I've laid out here, because if they do, they'll see through the illusion. So I'm going to have instead, I've got a different little type of building here. Tropical buildings that someone made. These I think are really rather cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a beautiful kind of tropical beach hut along the beach here. And what this beautiful little beachfront shack here is going to contain is a new shop. I want people to be able to get their pirate souvenirs. You should be able to buy pirate souvenirs in Pirate Land. So we'll put a pirate souvenir shop right there. And finally, we've got some good weather as well. Beautiful. Speaking of which, we've made it quite a few months without bothering to hire, like, you know, a single janitor. So we've got to hire a janitor. You just kind of get on with doing whatever it is you want to do. We've already got a hauler. He's filling up the souvenirs at the moment. We should probably have a mechanic as well. Just, you know, to inspect the rides to make sure they don't, you know, explode and crash and kill everyone. Now, the big thing that did bother me was I didn't have palm trees. Well, now I do. So I can have some palm trees just dotted about in front of this lovely little kind of tropical shop here, which is really, really cool. This is part of a little mod that kind of puts some more exotic plants into play. So I'm going to put like a big one of those right here and right here as well. Some beautiful big old things. I'm going to put, yeah, some little ones down here. And then I'm going to put some like bigger curving ones over here round the beach, because I don't actually think people are ever going to come round this way. So instead we can just have a beautiful little kind of set of palm trees dotted around here. Very, very nice. And obviously we'll use the big ones over here. So we'll kind of, yeah, just put these on the cliff side and to vaguely kind of cover up all of the supports. And that is starting to look much more to my liking now, but I think we can just add a few little more nice touches yet. So let's just have some little barrels by the docks here. That makes sense. We'll make like a nice little pile of them. There we go. While it is frankly unnecessarily expensive, I'm going to put like a little extra pier here. So we've kind of got some nice kind of like double pier going out here. I want just like plenty of piers by the waterside. And interestingly, seagulls! I've seen a seagull has been added. It's weirdly expensive. I don't know if it's like an animatronic seagull or whatever. I'm going to put one in and see what it does. There indeed is a seagull costing $65. Is it going to do anything? No, it's just going to chill out there. That's fine. Now, let's open up this ride. I really wanted to wait until we actually had like a proper sunny time to open it. Now, everyone get aboard the ride. Okay, you've gone on without immediately saying, that's far too much money. Good, because we really need this roller coaster to actually make some money, because we've kind of spent most of our money, and most of it's just been on, like, you know, theming. But I tell you what, I think it's starting to take shape here, good old Pirate Land. I think this is actually starting to work. So, the first people are now, oh yeah, people are now starting to queue up for a Here Be Dragons, our exciting new ride. And when they do decide to get on, I think we've got a fun little surprise as well. Ah, yes, here we go. Now, if I just go over a roller coaster and tap R, then I get to ride it. Here we are. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, you're looking worried, and you should do. Yes, I've installed the coaster cam. So that's obviously the back of the actual, the dragon car that I'm in at the moment. So we kind of go up here and about, and we get to kind of see Pirate Land down there. Beautiful. We can just kind of peer down through. Yeah, because I've got the dragon car, the visibility's not the best, actually. That kind of that obscures the view a little bit. But it's good theming, damn it. I like it. And you've got the massive lighthouse right here that you get to kind of climb around, which I think is a really, really cool thing. And then you get hung over the edge until past the roller coasters, into the tunnels, over the top. I was kind of hoping it'd be more pitch darkness, but it actually seems to be lovely and brightly lit. And you're just going round and round and round, and through and up, and through and up, and back into the station. Beautiful. Yeah, I wish you could kind of make it more pitch black, but everyone looks... Oh, people waving their hands in the air like they just don't care. Yes, that is what I have indeed installed. I've installed the coaster cam. So you basically just hover over any roller coaster, tap R, and you're riding it. Even the ones that like are a bit more weird to ride, like, you know, the pirate ship, you can just ride that. But it kind of lets you get like a bit of a ground view, which is nice. It's kind of making me think, actually, yeah, those the palm trees over there are actually doing a good job. They're kind of half disguising all the things around the lighthouse. It's looking beautiful. Wow, you look really excited. Oh, it's nice. I'm liking how this is shaping up. In fact, I'd say people are coming to this park pretty much exclusively for this, because the number of guests is just shooting up all of a sudden. So let's just get a little bit more money out of their pockets as they enter. $5 to enter? Yeah, you know what? Pirate Land's cool. We've got a really good Pirate Land here. I'd say that's a more than fair asking price. Now, one thing I do think is a little bit unfortunate is what you find is, like, when you have, like, one texture and then another, they go into each other in a really ugly fashion because there's no half and half. So what I like to do is I like to use kind of, like, rocks to kind of prevent that. So, no, don't put it underground. Here's just fine, thank you. So I'm going to, like, put, like, rocks around the coast here. And that's specifically so that I can kind of just cover up this ugliness here. Rocks are a little bit on the expensive side, to be honest, at 24 a piece. But I'll go for this little kind of $14 rock. I mean, the rocks are also just a really good way of adding just a bit of extra flavour to textures. Because the textures are really flat at the moment, so I like just kind of just tossing in some extra rocks just to make the hillside look a bit more kind of like rocky. See, I've just spent quite a lot of money on rocks there, but like the end result looks much, much nicer. When now, like, it doesn't just look like a flat texture anymore. It looks more like a little kind of rocky outcrop with the lighthouse, and like, you know, everything's a lot better disguised. I've used rocks to kind of cover up the base of the supports as well. So like in general, I think that looks a lot nicer. Let's put some logs down, shove some bulrushes around the edge of the water. I'm not sure if bulrushes would grow in, like, you know, this is clearly supposed to be like, you know, the sea in a lagoon and whatever. I'm assuming bulrushes might actually need, like, you know, fresh water or something to grow, but they're a lovely touch anyway. So there's a good start, but I've got something much more special planned for, like, the big main attraction of this area. And that is, as far as I'm concerned, having this kind of little pirate ship in the harbour's one thing, but that's nowhere near big enough. What we need is a proper ship out in the bay itself. But I'm not just having it be a prop, because there is a prop one you can download, but I want this to actually be a proper working ship. So I've got a bit of a plan for that. And that is that we're gonna build our own, damn it, our own massive ship right here in the harbour to roughly this sort of a framework. Okay, so now we've got a ship that goes right down to the bottom. So if anyone looks down, it looks legitimate. Or possibly it doesn't because it's now stuck in... Never mind, it'll be fine. And now we just fill in the corners nice and easily. For bonus points, of course, make sure that all your pieces are actually facing the same way. We want the wood grain to be standardized across the whole ship. There we are. I've now fixed it so it is. Now, for goodness sake, make sure that we've got fencing around the outside. It would be very dangerous if we didn't. And also, before I go any further, I want to make sure that this actually looks nice. So we're going to get rid of some of these walls here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some hatches in, of course, because we are going to be ready to fire with this thing. But we can actually have the hatches closed if we want to. There is actually a little asset for that. If that's what you want to have. If you want to have a closed hatch, then you totally can do. Alternatively, of course, if you want to, you can just have your cannons sticking straight through. Because there's nothing to stop you just kind of putting cannons here. So let's have some cannons ready to go, I'd say. I don't really like that one at the back. I'm just going to fix the back there, actually, and do a little bit more. Alright, there we are. Some nice hatches with cannons behind them. Beautiful. Obviously, we'll cover up the lower deck so people won't realise those are just basically floating in midair. Though I could put floor underneath them if I wanted to. It's just because no one's ever going to go down there. It seems kind of pointless. Now, I've just ever so slightly redo this to adjust the height. I needed it to be 1/4 higher. Because the thing is, I'm not actually planning to have the main deck of the ship be covered up as a prop. I'm actually planning to make it an actual path. But paths can't be on quarters, they have to be on an exact amount. So what I'm going to do then is, yeah, I'm going to make this whole area a big kind of path. Now that leaves a small gap between 3.75 there and 4 here, but we can close that up pretty easily as well. You see, if we just get rid of what we built here, there's little step assets here, which perfectly kind of closes the gap. It's an entirely fictitious gap, so of course there is the barrier here that's part of the step, so people can't make it out to this direction. But I like it anyway. As for the annoying bits at the side, however, those we just deal with a wall that's kind of half hidden there. So it's not perfect, but it works pretty well, I'd say. Now the other thing we need to do, of course, is right now it's a bit of an ugly mess of colours. But if we just quickly kind of colour match as effectively as we can, is that good? It needs to be just a little bit dimmer than that, doesn't it? How's that? That's about spot on. Yep, there we go. Now we've got it. So now we just paint all of the ship parts this lovely colour, and we have got ourselves a fairly uniform ship going on. This is starting to take shape nicely. To be honest, I'd rather I actually just kind of recolored the path to be more like the ship, the dark colour, but you're not actually allowed to do that, unfortunately. Also, excuse me, what's your problem down there? There you go. For some reason, that one wouldn't do. Also, we've got a very small... Actually, we don't need to worry about the back yet. We don't need to worry about the back yet because I've got another plan yet, which is this is only the starting point. Which is we don't actually need all of this path here. Indeed, I've actually got a different plan for it. Just in the same way that a normal ship would have a little kind of like top deck, I'm going to make a top deck on this thing. Except the top deck's going to let me actually have some shops on the ship. Alright, so we've now got space for 2 shops at the back of the ship. Unfortunately, like, there's not particularly good stairs. Like, there's a little kind of half stairway, but it's really kind of hard to make it actually do anything that looks good. Because, like, it only goes up, like, that far. So I tried doing, like, one and then round a corner, and then making, like, it then go up that way. So, like, up and then up. But that just didn't really work desperately well. So I had those lovely little shop decorations in there. This I quite like, some kind of like supplies at the back. And here we are, just some more crates at the side here. I like just having some crates dotted about so it feels like, you know, the ship's being supplied properly. Oh, I had a little touch, by the way. There's a lovely little hatch I put at the front of the ship. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'd say an ice cream would be the perfect thing to shove in here. So we shove in an ice cream store. Beautiful. That'll be ready to go as soon as I like build a... I haven't actually built a thing over to it yet, so that's absolutely fine. And I'd say, yeah, ice cream and a souvenir. That'd be just the thing to pick up in this area. You can get some ice creams and some souvenirs. So when we build some paths out, the guy will come and fill those up. We've got more to do yet. First things first, let's just make this whole area match the rest of the ship. Obviously, safety first. We'll have some fencing around the top, as that bit doesn't have, like, automatic fencing. And now we get into the more interesting props. In particular, the masts. This I've actually been planning out. So obviously we're going to have some masts on this ship. That'll make it a lot kind of cooler looking. So we've got a double mast up front there. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the same at the back. Except at the back, I think we might actually have even like a triple mast to make sure. Actually, it'll be higher anyway because it's starting from a higher point. So we'll kind of put this here. And then that's in the center. So we'll zoom out a little bit. And we'll put the next one on top of... Let's make it clip together if we can. Yep, fine, that's beautiful. So that's starting to look a lot better already, I think. Obviously, add some pirate flags on. We do want everyone to know this is indeed a pirate ship. Except here's the other thing I've been thinking. I really like the idea of this not just being like a little area. I want this to actually have a ride on it. Ah, you see, we've been thinking about this. And there is, in just the right convenient spot, the launched drop tower. So let's just extend that up a little bit. It doesn't need to be like too high or anything. So instead of a crow's nest, we're actually going to have a launched freefall kind of built into this thing. In fact, now I want to get that up to 10 is fine, I think. We'll test that in a second. Yeah, let's just test it now. Test it. Oh, no, it needs entrances and exits. And that's fine, because I've been planning all along, what we can do is we're going to have little kind of gangways leading into this area. There we are. We put the exit down, and it immediately takes the colour of the area it's connected to. Very, very nice. Let's just test that to see how extreme it is. And while we're doing that, we can start laying out the paths. So, quick little bit of recolouring for the Crow's Nest, our new ride there. That now kind of looks a little bit like the main mast, which I quite like. And I'd say, together with the new shops, that is looking very, very nice indeed. We've got these kind of two boarding planks. Just for fun, we've got an extra little kind of walk the plank there. They will just kind of hang a couple of lanterns around the ship. That looks really, really nice right there. Yep, hanging lanterns. Absolutely fantastic. I can even actually put a crow's nest on top of the ride, the crow's nest. Is that perfectly... It's not quite straight. Hang on, get rid of that. There we are, perfect. We've got a crow's nest on top of the ride, the crow's nest, and a pirate flag on top of it too. We'll shove some extra kind of assets into here. Lovely. Some locked chests. And we'll even crack out an animated cannon for the very front. And I've even put some extra flooring down underneath this hatch, which is now correctly coloured to avoid the small issue of, yes, the fact you could see the sea through that. I did briefly consider, like, having black sails on this thing, by the way. I like it better with the white sails, I think. And one final lick of paint, of course, is absolutely essential, which is the queue. There we are. I wish you could do the ticket office as well. We've just got to make sure that the queue kind of matches everything else. So now the queue of there works. Beautiful. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is more than enough for now. This has taken me, this took about 3.5 hours, which probably just means I'm very bad at designing things, but that's fine. Oh, it's been worth it, though. It has been very, very worth it. Welcome to part 1 of Parkitect. If I just kind of zoom out for a sec. But this is but one small part of a very large whole indeed. But I think it's a really, really good start. I'm thrilled with how this has turned out, actually. I think it's turned out really, really nicely. So this here is Pirate Land, where the guests walk through the governor's mansion and are magically and wondrously teleported into this beautiful little kind of harborside piratey town, together with the kind of the old armory with a roller coaster buried inside it. Oh, I haven't cleaned up that yet. Hang on. Let's get this standardized for a sec. That's better. Now the roof's the same colour the whole way along. That's much, much better. That was bothering me for a second there. We've got this kind of... Oh, I love the lighthouse island. The rocky lighthouse island that's got the roller coaster that kind of sloops around the lighthouse and then dives underground. There's secret tunnels underneath Pirate Land. And the little kind of the pirate ship here. And then, like, you know, the little kind of the shops actually kind of built into the governor's mansion. And then you can get, like, your pirate mementos from the beachside house and the beautiful trees. And then finally, of course, the kind of, the little kind of the pièce de résistance here. You can kind of board a full, beautiful, massive pirate ship and go up onto the crow's nest. Which I have just very quickly adjusted to have a little bit more queue, because it blatantly did not have enough queue there. Maybe I could have made the boat like a tiny bit wider, but I think that's turned out pretty well. It's a little blocky, but there's not really kind of round pieces in this game yet. I quite like the fact that it kind of goes to the kind of the edge here, and then it's got the little step up, and then it's actually, you can like walk around it, then it's got the bit at the back. Maybe I should have made it like one deeper. Maybe it looks a bit shallow at the back here, but I think like actually the masts and the crow's nest have actually turned out really, really nicely, so I'm thrilled with how that's turned out. And like obviously, you know, when you're on the roller coaster, you've actually got the view of the beautiful pirate ship and everything. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled with how this has turned out. Maybe I'll come and like touch this up a little bit if I have any more thoughts. But welcome to Parkitect, welcome to John's totally safe adventure, and welcome to Pirate Land, the first part. I don't know when the second part will be. It's whenever a mod or new content in the actual base game itself catches my fancy. But yes, more soon, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Parkitect, which I'm absolutely loving. Thank you very much, and goodbye. You should have got up faster. Well, as long as Anne's alright. I like Anne. She's my favourite character who hasn't said or done anything so far this game. I know this is slow, but I'm not wasting my weapon on you. You're not flipping worth it. I should not do too much more ramming. Oh, who am I kidding? I'll ram anything I see.